Hop aboard the virtual airline. We're traveling to Germany to make a delicious peach Kuchen today. And it's not that bad for my diabetics either. Welcome to Help at Home, your resource for great recipes and easy learning. I'm Jim Hightower. Today we're making a delicious German peach Kuchen. And that is Kuchen. It's not peach Kuchen from the South, Kuchen. It's not peach Kuchen. It's Kuchen. The C is silent. Preheat your oven to 400 degrees. Grab your pen and paper. Here come the ingredients. For the crust, you'll need 1½ cups flour, 3/4 cups sugar. For my favorite diabetics, use Splenda Sugar Blend and half of that amount. 2 teaspoons baking powder, 1/2 teaspoon salt, 1/8 teaspoon nutmeg. Take your 4th teaspoon measure, do half or less. I did a little bit less. Half a stick of butter cut into small pieces, half a cup of milk, 1 egg, and 1 large can of sliced peaches. That's 29 ounces, or about 822 grams. For your custard cream topping, that's 1 cup milk, 2 teaspoons flour, half a cup of sugar, or for my favorite diabetics, 1/4 cup Splenda Sugar Blend, 1 egg, 1 teaspoon vanilla, and a pinch of salt. It's as simple as that. This is so easy. It reminds me of making the butter crust pie dough. So, get that half a stick of butter, and I'll go ahead and pour my flour in. And you just want to cut it into small pieces. Now, you've seen me do this before, but honestly, I'm going to tell you, the smaller the better. And you'll see why in a minute. It should be cold butter, because if it's soft, it'll just mash and it won't cut into pieces. And you want it to cut into pieces. Next, I'm also going to put in my other dry ingredients. And you just want to mix this together till it's kind of like that coarse meal or cornmeal. And have this handy little 5-speed KitchenAid mixer that my wife got for Christmas. Look at this. This slow start speed. That's what you want. You don't want wham. Now, if you find yourself having trouble, like I am, because it's just a little cold, you can get a pastry blender and kind of chop that butter up. I tried to make it small, but it wasn't enough. So here's a pastry blender. I'm just going to, as Julia would say, chop, 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 chop. Alternatively, you can use your fingers. Just kind of submerge your fingers into the flour and push the butter between your fingers. Just kind of mash it. It's no big deal. I break the rules. The recipe said mix the egg with your milk. I don't do that. And I'll just pour that in. Again, look how lovely that low start speed is. And then you can just speed it up as you need it. The original recipe said mix together with a fork until moist. I don't think so. That trick of running your beater fast to get everything off of it. There you go. Now, I can tell you, this is such a good little dough. It's yummy. That's your crust. The next thing you need is a 9-inch springform pan. This is what they make cheesecake in. Springform. You open it, it springs open, except it doesn't really have a spring, it's just a latch. Now, I've had this for a couple of years. It's got some stains and such, but who cares? Because I never put a raw dough directly onto a pan like this. I always put a piece of foil, and I mash it down around the edges. Since this one has edges on the bottom that sticks up, I'm pushing it down into the edges. If it was a traditional flat springform bottom, I would just wrap it underneath. Alright, next, you need that butter. Wrap it around, you don't have to get dirty, and you just prepare your pan so that it won't stick. Then attach your sides, make sure it's open. Push down, clamp, and there you are. Then, we're going to do our side. Forget trying to keep your hands clean. Whoopsie. Just push it, go around the edges. That is so easy. Okay, get your crust here, your dough, and scrape your sides. Get it all out. Come on. You'll want to taste it. It's so good. Push this all over. And in fact, this is one of those things you can do with your hand. Sometimes it's easier that way. See how easy that is? Just push it in. You don't need to make up sides like a cheesecake. That's what makes this one easy. Next, get your peaches. And I've let them be draining because you don't want this any wetter than you need it to be. You want it to cook. Put them on. These were in heavy syrup, so I rinsed and drained them and rinsed and drained them again. We don't want the extra sugar. Now the recipe says arrange these, you know, yada yada. But you know what? For the most part, I don't think it really matters. I just arrange them until they're all facing down. You're ready to go in the oven, 400 degrees, for at least 20 minutes. Be sure and set your timer for 20 minutes and make sure that your cake is on the middle rack. When you just have a few minutes left on your crust, go ahead and make your custard cream. Now, I'm not following this recipe verbatim because I don't like the way they did it. I'm following the traditional custard route. So, they said pour in some of your milk and then your flour and yada yada. But traditional custard route is you beat up your egg a little bit, then you put your sugar and flour in, and that's what I'm going to do. I love this low start speed. It just really makes my day. And on the KitchenAid website, these were $69. Now, I'm not bragging, but at Christmas, they had them on for $19.99. You can't beat that. And because I'm using this, I have to scrape my sides just to make sure, and wipe them on the beaters there. And then slowly put the milk in so it doesn't splatter. Now, in a traditional custard, your milk would be boiling hot, so it would start cooking it. But this is cold because it's going in the oven, so it's a little bit different. My crust is ready. Okay, here's what my crust looks like with the peaches after 20 minutes. See, it's puffing up through the peaches. And the sides are brown. Just pour your custard right on top. Now, truthfully, I actually did 1 1/4 cups of milk because I wanted to make sure that there was plenty of custard. I'm just going to use it all. And of course I'm going to taste it. Yummo. Put this carefully back into your oven. Reduce the heat and continue baking for 30 to 45 minutes. It'll puff up and brown lightly on top. Okay, this is 35 minutes in the oven at 350. See, it has puffed up, it's going down, but it's nice and brown and it's starting to come away from the edges. Maybe you can see it, maybe you can't. If you use the springform pan, then I would let it cool for 15 minutes in the pan. Then you can serve it. You can serve it warm, you can serve it cold. You can serve it in the pot 9 days old. Maybe not, but it sounded good. At any rate, here we are at the end of our 15 minutes of cooling in the pan. Put a knife in, run it around the edge carefully. Open your sides. And carefully take it off. And see how nice and brown these sides are. I'm going to show you. Look at that. You won't believe how tasty this is, and it's a good lower carb alternative for our favorite diabetics. If you like this recipe for delicious German peach Kuchen, and it's not Kuchen, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe and share with your friends who like to cook or just want to learn how. Drop me a line in the comments below about your experiences with this recipe and what else you'd like to see in the kitchen. Click the bell in the top right hand corner for notifications. I'm Jim Hightower, and remember, everyone needs help, even me. Enjoy. And it's not that bad for my diet. Today we're going to make a German peach Kuchen. And that's... Be sure to set your timer. Be sure that you also have it in the middle rack. Your cake, not your timer. When you just have a few minutes left on your crust, go ahead and make your... reduce your heat to 350... Flopper. Drop me a line in the comments below about your experiences with this delicious recipe and what else you...